So we're hearing these terms being kicked around about inflation, about CPI reports, and about the looming recession. And the new term in the headlines today is no landing, as the Fed is attempting to execute on rate hikes to initiate a soft landing, while major economists and bank CEOs like Brian Moynihan are concerned that we're going to have a hard landing. I'm talking about folks like Peter Schiff, multi-millionaires and billionaires concerned about the state of the economy, the jobs market, consumers, and a recession that is likely to cause pain to be felt by millions of American families, with multiple millions of jobs lost and an unemployment rate reaching upwards of almost 6%. At a time when inflation is on the rise, prices are going up left and right, and everything is just more expensive no matter where you turn, no matter where you look. And putting people in positions to choose to live out of RVs, Class A's, Class B's, Class C's, live out of their cars, live out of their vans, live out of their trucks, in an attempt to balance these rising costs and lowering wages. I actually had somebody comment, several comments on previous videos, a few of which I want to address. Typically, I prefer not to engage with the trolls and take a quote out of Stradman's book and basically say leave them in the basement where they belong. But some people say that I come off arrogant, and it has a lot to do with my appearance. Now, I don't know what to tell you guys. All I'm doing is just sharing with you what I see, what I hear, and what is likely to occur based on my opinion. By all means, you do not have to stick around, and if you choose to leave and unsubscribe, well, you don't need to alert those in the comment section, because one, they don't care, and two, they'll never see it because it's a blocked word. So anyway, one of the other comments I received was actually, why don't you try living off of $26,000 a year? And obviously that would be a very difficult thing to do given the current state of the economy and how much things just cost. I mean, the average rent price right now is like floating around $2,000 a month. So if all you earned was $26,000 a year, $2,000 a month would eat up about 98% of your income before anything else. Hardly a livable condition. Now, obviously there's various reasons why some people would be in a situation to live on such low income levels, but I would highly suggest and encourage that you do all you can to increase your income. And with that being said, once you do, spend less than you make. But I'm not going to get into that because, frankly, what you guys want to hear is what I'm going to tell you, and that is that this no landing situation is bad. I'm going to tell you why. I just came across some friends, and they fell on some hard times and have gone from, no lie, shit you not, multi-millionaires to literally telling me they just hope that they can make rent. And the economy has really taken a toll on them over the last 4 years, basically. They've tried really hard. And now they are, one of which is employed. They have a job, which is a good thing. She was able to pick up this job in about 3 weeks. It took about 3 weeks from the time of applying and interviewing and onboarding. That worked out really well. And then the other is now an Uber driver, actually Uber and Lyft. So diversity is part of my strategy, folks. Diversity. So didn't put all his eggs in one basket, so he's got Uber and Lyft. And interestingly enough, he said that in the first 3 days he was tested so many times. actually having received a strike against his account for a inebriated and intoxicated passenger who never actually set foot inside of his vehicle. But he said he has a plethora of more stories that he would like to share about his recent experiences, that if you guys are interested, I'll bring him on the channel so he can tell you, he can share it with you. He's got a ton of stories. Just from driving here in Destin, Florida, Fort Walton Beach, Miramar, Sandestin. But at the end of the day, he said something and it really got me thinking. In addition to all the other forces out there that are literally trying to wipe people out financially, I wouldn't be surprised if, much like in stores where you have secret shoppers, that with Uber and Lyft and some of these other gig work, side hustle income opportunity, 1099 independent contractor app opportunities, they do the same, with the intention of trying to weed out people very quickly, which is ultimately a system designed for failure. They want to see who will fail the test quickly instead of actually setting people up to succeed, which is sad to say because we need that now more than ever. Why? No landing. And what that means is that there's no hard landing and there's no soft landing. And all it means is what I told you my prediction was for 2023, which was, say it with me now, more of the same. So that means more inflation. Not necessarily a hard landing where the economy crashes, and not necessarily a soft landing where people are in a position to do better and improve their financial situation during these tough, high inflationary economic times, but just kind of more of the same. Inflation continues to rise, costs continue to go up, income continues to level or decline and decrease. As I came across another story of a young woman who was actually applying for a job, trying to improve her financial situation, only to realize that she was applying for her own actual job that her employer had disguised on a job listing website, job listing app, as a different name, different company, different title. At the end of the day, that position would have actually ended up paying less than what she earned in compensation now, but it's all by design to keep people down, keep them struggling, keep them broke, keep them hungry, keep them hurting. And if we see this no landing situation at a time where systems are designed to encourage failure and encourage people being limited and fed less, attempting to starve them out, while people are trying to manage a lifestyle on $26,000 a year or whatever it may be, well, folks, this is a recipe for disaster. Now, I'm not here to paint this picture of negativity and doom and gloom. This is literally the truth of what's happening, what's going on a regular basis all around us. Some of you may see it, some of you may hear it, some of you may actually live it and experience it. And at the end of the day, if that's the case, then we've got to make a change. Otherwise, the only likely conclusion, the end of this story in these scenarios, which is by design, is economic collapse, economic wipeout to millions and millions of Americans. Ironically, you would think that there would be some aid, some assistance to help to prevent this from happening. Well, there is, but not the way that you might think. So, for instance, came across the story, headline, as I was doing some research to bring you guys future content, future information to help you build businesses and have access to funding for your businesses. And came across a grant opportunity, but ironically the grant opportunity was for, it's a organization, it's a department, USAID, USAID, bless you, USAID. And USAID was actually promoting this business grant funding opportunity for new businesses. There you go. There's your help. There's your aid. There's your support. But here's the kicker. It was for new businesses in the Ukraine. Can you say money laundering? So anyway, if you guys are interested, I can bring you some more information on it. So basically, if you start a business in the Ukraine in a few select categories, then you could have access to US government funding through grants and business funding. But the cool part about it is you don't have to actually live in Ukraine to have access to it. You just have to have a business registered in Ukraine. So quick Google search pulled up ways to start a business in the Ukraine. Folks, I can't make this stuff up. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't have to, because they put it out there for it to be found. Like, this is literally the system designed for millions to fail and millions of others to potentially succeed by way of siphoning and laundering money out of US taxpayers' hands and into other people's pockets.